otherwise known as Huda, won't be black. But since she can't, she settled for being anti-black. And that backfired on her and her budget brand Chris Brown boyfriend, to the point where Huda getting dropped from her own beauty brand, Huda Beauty. This is Huda in a natural habitat, surrounded by a murder of black men. She is a whisperer. I can't stand these as a black man men. I can't stand when black men use their blackness as a shield for non-black women to be anti-black towards black women.
It's a foreign man in a foreign land.
The internet is calling out Love Island USA's Huda Mustafa and her boyfriend Louis Russell after a
light skin down 10,000. St. Carter, it's all on you to save the light skins them. He's from Beans and Toast Country. He UK, he British. Even more reason.
The viral video captured them laughing at a prank caller who called her former co-star Olandria the N-word.
Y'all been begging me to cover Olandria, and I understand why now. On the surface, even me being someone that has never watched the show, it is clear that Olandria getting what most black women that go on dating shows get, which is a humiliation ritual. I need y'all to stop going on these dating shows. The way the internet has been obsessed with Olandria, whether in hate or love, is still an obsession. I thought that this gal had won Love Island. Come to find out that she was just the runner-up. That simply shows the cultural impact of Olandria, and that's not without cause. This is an iconic picture. You have a gorgeous dark-skinned woman draped over a white man. Shonda Rhimes, Mussy executive produced this whole thing. But as with any dark-skinned woman in the public eye, they will also face anti-blackness. You have a bunch of comments just like this yam head right now. Olandria is low-key ugly as hell. Kinda looks like a mouse mixed with a squirrel. This is even worse. Here she's literally being compared to a monkey. There's nothing else I could say. This is the mild stuff, mind you. And this is a woman that fits European beauty standards to a T. Because body T, everything T, the very European beauty standards that plagues us, she not only meets, but she transcends them. Olandria had went viral for fitting her waist in a pair of shades.
Your knees and bark like you want.
But as you noticed, this is a stitch that another creator made rather than the original video. Because at this point, the original video is lost media. Olandria took the original video down, presumably because of the backlash she got from the trend. Folks were saying that it promoted unattainable beauty standards. While I agree that the world is fraught with anti-blackness, also, Freudian slip because anti-blackness is anti-fatness, but you only want to talk about that. Olandria didn't put a normative value on her body. Olandria just put some shades around her waist. She didn't say a thing. She copy lamed it. You had Clara Dow out here doing literal skinny propaganda, doing tutorials on YouTube on how to get skinny to the tune of millions. You had Swastika Sweeney, SS Sweeney out here, verbatim saying that she has good genes. That's a normative statement because in order to have good, there must exist bad in order to make that relative comparison. Olandria simply put some shades around her waist, didn't necessarily say anything, and she received so much hate for it that she had to take the video down. This is an example of a theme you will see throughout this video, which is basically the hypercritical eye that people have for black women. A level of scrutiny that we do not give anybody else. The same people that would turn around and lambast Victoria's Secret because they had Angel Reese on, and now they want to talk about bringing model bodies back. You got people up in here saying she don't know how to walk in heels, talking about what happened to Victoria's Secret. I remember when Victoria's Secret had high standards. What types of bodies are permissible for desirability? And since we were on Angel Reese, the very way that they did Olandria in comparing her to a monkey, like they did, right here, that's the same thing that they did to Angel Reese. You had people saying that she looked like Sid the Sloth from Ice Age. You noticing a trend? I don't see white people compared to any type of animals. I know a lot of white people that look like animals. And if this looks familiar, it's because they did the exact same thing to Halle Bailey.
This is crazy. This is crazy.
They're not even creative. It's damned if you do, damned if you don't. You could have a waist that fits in a pair of shades while still having breasts on bungie, your jawline and your cheekbones all of them can meet this arbitrary standard that were not made with us in mind in the first place. It doesn't matter. Desirability won't save you. And that's liberating. You can be who you are now. It's very liberating to not have to conform to that because you wasn't going to win in the first place. So you might as well just rebel. And that brings me to the other part of this story, which is Huda. The fact that y'all say this dance and I'll never forgive y'all. Hermes could fit underneath this goddamn limbo bar because of how low y'all have this shit. Y'all is hype up fish for swimming. This is Huda in a natural habitat, surrounded by a murder of black men. My introduction to Huda has been that she is a nigga whisperer. I call a spade, and she calling spades. What's her favorite game at the casino? Blackjack. How she like her coffee? What you think? I ain't see nothing like this since J-Lo. Huda? Who that? Oh God. Who this? And she got Chris Brown in the media though. Kyle, she's not gonna you blood. Bro, you bouncing on it. Rob, one Kool-Aid. Dry yourself off. Just stop it, man. I need to free my from the exotical's blood. Huda is representing the exotical delegation. For the non-cocoa butter committee them, exoticals refer to racially ambiguous women that specifically leverage black femininity in order to perform desirability. Another term for them would be preferences. Preferences, that's an inside joke amongst black folks. They are preferred by particular black men, which we'll get into very shortly. But this last slide gets into the nuance, essentially. They gonna say these Palestinian braids. There's some nuance here, and I want to get into that. This clip is the perfect representation of the racism Huda, a Palestinian, has been receiving. The way a raging Zionist was attacking her the whole time, and mind you, he acted kindly with the rest of the contestants.
And all I can say is I was unapologetically myself in all of those moments. I didn't hide who I was one bit. And
so you did a month of self-reflection and you're a different person now?
Huda is Palestinian. During a time where the Palestinian genocide is a popular political talking point, her being visible means that she may be the victim of degrees of Islamophobia and Zionist rhetoric. I want to hold space for her, not simply because of her, but because of whom she may very well represent. Just like how J.K. Rowling is a yamhead, I don't approve of misogyny being used to dehumanize or clap back at J.K. Rowling. You could clap at J.K. Rowling without clapping at the swaths of women who don't subscribe to transphobia and all the rest of the other yamheadery that J.K. Rowling subscribes to. Yeah, you say that you forgot that she's Palestinian. Sometimes I wonder if she remembers. I need some people to stop jacketing marginalized people with politics that align with their marginalization. You'll be setting them up for failure and you'll be setting yourselves up for disappointment. Huda has not brandished herself as a pro-Palestinian icon. Just because this person is a particular level of marginalization does not mean that they're going to be progressive and does not mean that they are going to champion these plights that most affect their intersections. They could just want to be what they want to be. And that's fine, actually. I actually defend that right for Huda as I do for anybody. You're setting yourselves up for failure for dressing people in borrowed robes. Robes that they did not ask to use. Huda had one intention of coming on a dating show, and that is to be a bad gal, which I love for her. She did not have no intention of being no damn bastion for political activism. She going on a dating show. Furthermore, if we going off of what she's displayed on the show and extracurricularly, she seemed like she won't be a black woman more than anything else, but you only want to talk about that. The moment Huda started twerking, I was no better than a man.
I call him Carol Baskins.
Again, y'all clapping for fish swimming. Nothing wrong with Huda twerking. There's even something to be said by the fact that if she comes from a Muslim background, this is a powerful protest from religious restrictions. The problem is, the very things people bigging up Huda for, the fact that you got a gal over here clutching her non-existent pearls over it. The very things that they praise Huda for are the very things that they would drag Olandria for. The very slut-shaming that they levied to Megan Thee Stallion, who is ironically present, I believe. Yeah, she over here. Those very people will be dragging Megan Thee Stallion for that very reason. Just last week was saying that Megan need to stop being a shade room black, which is hella anti-black. They was just saying last week that she need to stop being a shade room black and she need to stop making songs about sexuality. However, Huda over here doing midnight ballerina movements, and she's an icon for it. Y'all love black femininity, y'all just don't love black women. This isn't the only time of which you see Huda doing black feminine cosplay.
Does Huda from Love Island speak in a black accent? I've noticed in seeing a bunch of clips of Huda during and after Love Island that she spoke very differently on the villa than she does now. I'm going to run you through some of the differences in her speech from then to now, and hopefully you'll notice a pattern. For starters, listen to how she says the word "this" in this clip.
I don't like this. I don't like this.
In this clip, Huda exhibits what's called TH stopping, when the TH in a word becomes a T or a D sound. TH stopping is most common in African American and Latin American English, and Huda is neither of these things. But that's beside the point. Listen to how she said the word "this" on this podcast clip.
You know, I'm sitting there and these girls are like hee-hee-hawing, like laughing, and I'm just sitting there just like with a straight face, just kind of like wondering like how that is even.
Interesting, right? When she was on the show, she exhibited TH stopping, a key trait of AAVE. But when she left the show, TH stopping suddenly disappeared. Surely it's a coincidence, right? Anyways, let's listen to how she pronounced the phrase "for real" while she was on Love Island.
Trying to kiss her back for real?
Here, Huda drastically reduces the vowel sound in the word real. Reducing vowel sounds around the letter R is a key trait of Black English and Baltimore English. Huda isn't Black, nor is she from Baltimore, so it's pretty interesting that she's doing this. It's also interesting that when she says the phrase "for real" while she's on a podcast after Love Island, she doesn't reduce the vowel sound of the word real.
Be for real, brother.
That brother is killing me. Come the Kardashian effect, built their brands off of sexuality and proximity to black celebrity aesthetic, but watch the pivot. Yeah, non-black women and non-black people specifically, they are afforded a level of flexibility that black people just aren't.
Last example, listen to how she says the word "my" in this clip from Love Island.
Who put this shit in my bed?
Here, she's lowering the vowel sound in "my" so it sounds more like "ma." Aquafina does this too when she wants to sound like a black guy from Atlanta because this is a trait of Southern AAVE. Now listen to how she says the word "my" on this podcast, again, after Love Island.
It's my first time in
The vowel sound's not lowered there, and she pronounces it way differently than how she pronounced it on the show.
The performance might be something that she's not even cognizant of, you know. What is Han Lo's razor? I don't want to attribute malice to something that could very well just be ignorance, right? She might be doing this second nature because she is used to code switching in the sense where she's trying to get a particular reaction. She's trying to get a different type of reception. So when she's talking to the black folks, she's going to perform a level of black adjacency. But when she's on this podcast, she wants to be received differently. She knows that the audience that she's speaking to is no longer the murder of Mandem. She is speaking to an audience of which she wants to sympathize with her. And it's interesting that like she will adopt a different type of vernacular when she's trying to seem innocent, because keep in mind, white people are seen as innocent by default. Black people are presumed to have malice. So she's not going to adorn a vernacular and accent that deems her to be non-innocent. She's going to put on the damsel in distress voice. And yet, this is a great point, Nali. Keep in mind the context. She's saying that the mean, angry black gals are bullying her, that she's receiving hate from the fan bases of the angry black women. This is a very easy narrative to buy into because we've heard it so many times before. It's like muscle memory. If she had blonded her hair here, I swear they would lock up Olandria right now. And that feeds into the stereotype of the angry black woman. So they're building upon a pre-established notion that people have already, that audiences have already, and it's easy for her to tap into. You have also this interesting dynamic where Love Island and their producers, because I can't leave them out of this, the premise of the show is already biased against black women to begin with. Love Island will edit in a particular way in which to antagonize or at least make the black contestants or black participants look angry, look malicious from the jump. Olandria and Shelly, for the longest, kept it cute, tried to be very non-confrontational. And then when they were doing that, people were calling them boring. The way in which Love Island's producers is using a very manipulative editing technique to make sure Olandria and the rest of them are viewed as antagonistic creates this self-fulfilling prophecy where now the audience is going to view them as antagonistic. And then the audience are going to reciprocate that energy in those fandoms, which then get back to the black women. And then they actually become antagonistic. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. The Love Island producers characterize it in a particular way. It goes out to the public. The public engages with that to a particular extent. They come to an understanding or conclusion that Shelly or Olandria are angry black women. They then feed that back into all the rest of these memes and these tweets and these comment sections. And then that goes back to Olandria and the contestants in general, of which then they have to deal with the anti-blackness because that seeps into your subconscious. And then now they're in this panopticon yet again, shout out Foucault, this idea of the panopticon of the way that you interact with the world when you're under a microscope, because they know that they are being seen as antagonistic, because Olandria and the rest of them know that they are being seen as antagonistic, then they're going to act accordingly. With all of that context now, we could view this differently.
The internet is calling out Love Island USA's Huda Mustafa and her boyfriend Louis Russell after a viral video captured them laughing at a prank caller who called her former co-star Olandria Carthen the N-word. Within the hour, Olandria has spoken up against this situation in her own Instagram story, saying, quote, "I do not condone racism of any kind, nor do I entertain it." Olandria also called upon Huda and Louis to take accountability.
"I do not condone racism of any kind, nor do I entertain it. That kind of language is never acceptable, not in anger, not as a joke, not ever. Words like that carry generations of pain, and pretending otherwise only keeps the cycle going." This is Olandria. Notice how she has to react in order to not appear like the angry black woman that she's been characterized this entire season. Black people, especially black women, have to do twice as much in order to get half as much as their white counterparts or non-black counterparts. She gotta come out with this when she is fully in her right to say, girl, park your panani up, fuck you. She would have been fully right to do that. But she can't do that. She can't do that because then she would be, quote unquote, validating everything that they've said about her being angry, being belligerent, and so forth. This is an example of the way that black women specifically have to navigate desirability politics in order to be received in a particular way. And guess what? Like I said before, in regards to the way that she still fits all of these different arbitrary standards and she still has anti-blackness leveled to her, because even though she's doing this, they gonna still come and try to say that it's not that deep. She just laughed at it. You literally had people in the comment section saying it's not that deep. The first comment that you get, I would have laughed too. Because what? I would have laughed. Someone literally said out of pocket stuff randomly. They were just caught off guard. Even after she reacted to it in a way that is respectable, she still will have people invalidating her experience of being called the N-word for an audience. This isn't her being called an N-word in a personal capacity. She's being called the N-word at scale because this is content for people now. And that's different. I liken that to the ways in which black pain is prostrated for an audience, almost like lynching. Lynching was something that people did to not only demoralize and of course inflict the most ultimate pain upon the black person, but also to send a reminder to all of the black people that you are not safe, that you can get got to. When someone calls you the N-word at scale and then you have people able to chime in on it, they are dehumanizing you, and once you dehumanize someone, you can do anything to them.
Accountability as well as their followers and show, quote, a genuine commitment to anti-racism by donating to organizations and foundations dedicated to educating and uplifting this community. During an Instagram live, Huda and Louis received a call where you could hear in the video the prank caller said, quote, Olandria is an N-word. The two immediately hung up after the caller said the racist comment, and both of the reality stars laughed in reaction. And Huda asked Louis, yo, what did they say? They said a bad word. Someone clipped the moment and it went viral across the internet, leading both Huda and Louis to speak out about the situation in the middle of the night on October 29th. On Huda's Instagram story, she referred to the clip as, quote, clickbait, and said that the person who said it called from no caller ID. Quote,
I don't condone anything of the sort. Whoever called purposely, continuously called while we were live. I really don't condone racism, which is why it was immediately hung up. Once again, we did not hear it very well, but everybody else could hear it, considering it sounded like a child. Yet again, to exculpate the accountability factor here. They're trying to circumvent the accountability. By saying it's a child, children aren't capable of accountability because they're children. And this is a good point. Clickbait, nobody baited you to laugh.
Well, I really don't condone racism, which is why it was immediately hung up. Once again, we did not hear it very well considering it sounded like a child, only the last slur. Huda followed up in another story slide claiming that her laughter was an, quote, awkward reaction. Fans notably called out that Huda didn't apologize for her reaction and didn't address Olandria's name at all in her story. Louis, who also posted on his Instagram story, which has now been deleted, also didn't mention Olandria's name nor apologize for his reaction, but instead stated that he doesn't, quote, condone no racism.
I can't stand these as a black man men. Oh God. I can't stand them. And here we get into the crux of the problem, because I can't stand when black men use their blackness as a shield for non-black women to be anti-black towards black women. Very specific petition for y'all, man, them. It's one thing to ally yourself with people whose attraction to you as a black man, since you want to say that, is not just these bigoted notions of what a black man is, but the attraction is very much steeped in a disdain for black women. It's a much needed discussion on how black men allow themselves to become accomplices in crimes against black women. All because they under that exotical mind control. They under that exotical mind control, and the mind they controlling is the mind in the cockhead. It can't be your own brain. Because if it was, you would realize that you yourself are also being fetishized.
Why isn't Shelly holding Ace accountable for wilding out in that show?
Yeah, I was going to ask you, did you feel any...
What do you call two lesbians together? A Netflix show? A Drake remix is killing me, blood. Ace finally addresses the heart rate challenge and says he was uncomfortable with Huda on him and he didn't enjoy it.
Or do you feel any responsibility in that to take accountability for your actions in it?
Yes and no. Like, for sure, amongst that whole entire process, throughout the whole entire season, we have been preaching it's a challenge, it's a challenge, it's a challenge. And that whole entire challenge was nothing different than what every other challenges was just kissing, trying to be passionate, trying to, do sexy ass shit and all that just to get the points or get the win or whatever like that. So really that was the mindset I was coming from when it came to throughout that whole entire challenge. But then nobody can expect her to just lick from the damn near gooch up to the tip like that. Like, yo, this shit is crazy. Now, afterwards, everybody's laughing and joking and shit like that. And I'm looking at her and I know she's pissed, and that's where I'm like, damn, like this shit has become even more than what it's supposed to be. Like, for me, again, I'm looking at it from it's a challenge perspective, and I'm seeing my girl pissed, and obviously I was pissed too when she had doubled back and did the whole thing with Chris and all that. So, but trust and believe, she held me accountable for like a week straight.
Gal go and hold the pole. This is what I'm saying. The very anti-blackness they weaponize against black women, they will weaponize against you. You, a black man, getting used. Your body is being used for entertainment. You're being holed out, being slutted out for entertainment. If the rules of engagement were, let's just, do enough so people could get the point, this does not entail licking hole to pole. Smooching the gooch was not on the menu. The way that Huda would contribute to anti-blackness towards Olandria and Shelly is the same way in which the way that you're being fetishized as a black man, she will dehumanize you. Fetishization is dehumanization. Fetishization is not love. Love is between equals. You can't be an equal if you're fetishized, because that means that you're sexualized as an object. You're objectified. For my black brethrens, them, you feel like your masculinity is being massaged by the fact that non-black women are fetishizing you. You are a sexual object. I know it feels good, and I understand that as well, because guess what? If you as a black man have gone throughout the world being told that you have no value, sure, I might not be seen as a human, but at least this person is engaging with me like I'm desirable. At least I could feel wanted. I understand. I need my black brethren them to take it a step further and understand and look past the fetishization. The way that the black men are fetishized as a means of dehumanize. It's the same thing with folks like Taylor Swift.
But I'm not a black bitch, and I'm not a savage, but I'm scared that you might cheat on me with the black hood bitch, and she's
gonna lie, this is beautiful blood. I'm using this in part because if I use the original Taylor Swift, she would copyright me quicker than Usain Bolt could. But also because it gets straight to the point. The whole pilgrimage to Krakow that Taylor Swift has been on as of late is in part her reading the tea leaves of society and realizing that it pays to be racist, but also it is in reaction to her insecurity of her partner's past of black women. Same thing with how white men used to stop talking to white gal them once they found out that they used to have a black brethren inside their roster. It's the same mechanism that motivates someone like Huda. I truly believe that she wants to be black, and if she can't be black, she'll settle on being anti-black. Love Island USA's Olandria tears up after calling out Huda for not addressing the racism.
Why didn't you do the post that Olandria asked you to?
Like, I was dealing with so much outside of that. Like, I didn't know what to say in that moment because I was dealing with so much. I wanted to address more than just that.
Truly wish you would have just prioritized that moment to just address the racism and the bullying towards me and Shelly, since that was spewed out the most. That hurt, Huda.
I was getting hated on as well, racially.
I get that, but your face was not...
Okay, so real quick, that is so important to note. Notice that, like, there's no apology here. Like, she doesn't say, yeah, you know, like, I understand, like, what you're saying. No, she says, well, I was being hated on too. It's not like, yeah, no, I see your point. Like, I could have probably just sent out a tweet and saying, hey, Huda Baloo, whatever. Can y'all please stop being racist to this black woman, please? It takes nothing to tweet that out. You could even do like a Trump stand down and stand by. You could do one of them.
I wanted to address more than just that.
Truly wish you would have just prioritized that moment to just address the racism and the bullying towards me and Shelly, since that was spewed out the most. That hurt, Huda.
I was getting hated on as well, racially.
I get that, but your face was not plastered on George Floyd's body.
I didn't even...
What I'm about to show y'all is disturbing. I don't know if I'll be able to keep this in. You had them literally photoshopping, crudely at that, a picture of a black woman on the face of George Floyd and a picture of Huda as, what the fella name again? I don't even want to immortalize them in name. The subject and the impetus for one of the largest civil rights protests. She is equating what messages she got to that.
Mine was. I told you that.
This was as a result.
I don't condone that either. I don't condone that either. Me addressing bullying
like that is hurt. That hurt.
And I'm sorry. Like, I didn't make the post.
I'm glad you've grown from it now, but it hurt, bro.
I'm really sorry.
We was close.
I'm really, like, truly.
And you didn't speak out for me.
This is a very telling face for me. I'm not gonna get all body psychology and everything like that. A black woman is crying in your face. A black woman of which you spend an inordinate amount of time with. I've been on a reality show. Shout out to Getaway. It's on Nebula. If you all on Nebula, you all have seen it. And if you all haven't seen it, you all should definitely check it out. But being on a reality show, I know how much doesn't make it in to the clips and how much you bond with the people, with the contestants inside that show. This is the face that she's making to someone that she's been in the throes of stuff with, on the show with, in proximity to, for quite some time. She's crying to her because she asked her specifically to speak up against the racism that she's endured. That's the look that she gives them. This goes back to Tyler, the Creator, as well. If you don't acknowledge, Tyler, the Creator specifically engendered an anti-black audience, right? But if you don't check the state of your audience, if you're not checking that and being very purposeful, if you note that there are some anti-blackness or there's some parts of bigotry inside your audience, and you do nothing to make it explicit and plain that you do not stand for this, then that compounds. That bigotry compounds. Your silence is saying it's okay with you. We talk a lot about Olandria. She was not the only person that suffered anti-blackness. You had Shelly, who also did. You had Shelly that also suffered quite a bit of anti-blackness at the hand of BuzzFeed. This is a whole corporation. BuzzFeed Tasty apologizes after posting photo saying they would serve Love Island USA star Shelly a knuckle sandwich for breakfast. We recently published a post that was offensive and did not meet Tasty's and BuzzFeed's high level of editorial standards. This post has been removed and we are taking steps to ensure this does not happen. What I'd make for Shelly: a bowl of fruit, goldfish in case Ace gets fussy. I don't know if he's supposed to be a dog. And of course, a knuckle sandwich. I I don't know if BuzzFeed had some layoffs that resulted in the editorial process becoming non-existent. But in what writer's room, social media room, what have you, would this be acceptable? To put a knuckle sandwich, to put a white fist on the proverbial plate of a black woman in a racial climate and a historical context and backdrop of violence, femicide, and the like, specifically misogynoir, being doled out towards black women. I think that white people should know this as well. But if you had just one black person there, someone would have had to say, hey, maybe don't make a post that is advocating for violence towards a black woman. These are not safe spaces for you to go on. Whatever fame or clout you think is accessible by going on these shows, on these Pop the Balloons, on these Love Island, Love is Blind. If the whole goal of it is to commodify romance, if you're engaging in romantic capitalism, understand that the person that's going to be the product is the black woman. All the time. The more that our media reflects our reality, the more you will find these, I mean, this ain't even the Zeus network, but this could have easily been on the Zeus network. These producers and these shows are looking, craving for black women and black participants to be the heels, the mechanism of humiliation in these shows. Humiliating black women is one of the oldest narratives, one of the oldest forms of comedy, of entertainment, of drama. From the jump, it is a very normal and believable thing to see black people in pain. And the more that these shows are laying off people, that means the less creative they can be, the less thoughtful they can be, and therefore you will see them falling back on what they know. There's no amount of clout, no amount of fame that you can get from being in proximity to pain as a black woman specifically, that is worth it.